Hi everyone, I'm Carol Keller. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Illinois in the United States, and I have for you today several alternatives to this month's paper pumpkin kit, which is called Lovely Lavender. I have designed a gift card holder, so a card that holds a gift card. So it is actually the same design for all of the cards, but I have decorated them with different parts of the kit, plus some other accessories, so that you can make some masculine cards and some feminine cards and use them for multiple occasions. I hope you like them. Let's get started. Here is this month's Lovely Lavender kit. It comes with a gorgeous grape ink spot and of course the flyer that tells you how to assemble the cards as they come in the kit, and there are some tags that come with this month's. Always remember, check to make sure you have the components. Contact Stampin' Up! If you don't. And then for the first time, there's a little flyer that you can use. These are all of the stamps that are in the kit. So when you're saving them, you can use this in whatever system you use to save them so that you know what you have. So I love this. I assume they're going to be doing this every time now. And the images are actual size, which is nice too. And so that's a nice new addition to the kit. Remember too that there are dies that go along with the kit. With this one and the kits for the next 2 months, they are called the Love of Spring dies, and we're going to be using a couple of those today. All right, let's get started. Here is the first card for today, and I was really inspired by this sentiment in the stamp set that comes with the kit. Just a little something for you. It inspired me to do a gift card holder, so this is a card that holds a gift card. I love these. They're really easy to make and they're just so useful. Then you know the gift card's not going to get lost, so that's a good thing. So let's get started with number 1. So I'm starting with a half sheet of Berry Burst, and this is cut at 4 1/4 inches by 11. We're going to score it, so I'm going to bring in my trimmer. And we're going to score it. Get that cutting blade out of the way. We're going to score it at 2 1/2 inches. And again at 5 1/2. And you're going to do this for all of the cards that I'm making today. So you can follow these instructions to make all 3 of them. And what I plan to do is I'm going to make this first card in its entirety. And then for the other 2 cards, I have them partially assembled so that the parts I'm already showing you with this card that are the same, I will not do again. I'll just show you the parts that are different, and that'll make more sense as we go along. All right, so then we're just gonna fold and fold again. And so I don't forget, we're gonna do this first. I'm using the 1 3/4 inch circle punch to make the little notch. So all I did was put it in part way and make sure it was reasonably centered. And we cut out the little notch so that it helps us to grab that gift card out of the card. And I'm going to put it together, that part with tear and tape. And I'm just using tape that I got from a previous kit. I've got some extras, so I'm using it up on these, which is nice. But we also have it to purchase if you ran out and you need more. Whoops. Well, that's okay. It's not going to matter if it overlaps there. But that is the end of that roll of tape, which is why I did that. So let me grab another one. And again, I've got another one that just comes from a previous kit. Help use that up. And I love to use my Take Your Pick tool to just pull that paper off. And over here. And then we're just going to fold it in and burnish it really well so that adhesive sticks to both sides. So that's the base for our card. And I have a card base from the kit, and we're going to cut it down. We're going to use this for this card. We're going to use this side for card number 3. And I need it cut at 4 inches. It's 4 1/4 inches wide. I need it at 4 inches. So I'm going to cut both of them right now, just because I have the trimmer. And everything, as I said, gets cut the same way. Take that out of the way for now. And then this needs to be cut at 2 3/4 inches, which is actually half. So we're cutting it in half so that we have 2 of the same size. And I tried to keep them side by side this way, so this will go on the front and this one's going to go right here, so they kind of match up. So So I'm going to grab my Stampin' seal and we'll go ahead and put that on. And make sure it's right side up. There is a right side. So let's see if we can get this centered. About like that, I think. Yeah. And then we'll do the same thing for the other side. So already we're pretty far through making the card. Now I have some other components that I'm going to bring in. I actually cut this label from the dies that come as a companion to the kit, the ones that I just showed you. There are also dies though, or there are also die cuts that come with the kit. And so you could use either one. If you don't have the dies, you can use the ones that come with the kit. It'll just be a little smaller. So I'll use this one just so that I can show you, but either one will work. And then I have cut from the painted lavender dies some of these beauties. And we're going to use them on the outside and the inside. And I cut this as well. And then I took this die cut from the kit. So that's what goes on the front. And all I did was take some glue dots. And again, I'm using up glue dots from a previous kit, actually from a couple of different kits. So I've just got a couple left here. I want to try and use them up. So I'm just putting them at the tops. I'm not so concerned about the bottom. And these are a little smaller, but it doesn't matter, they still work. I just want to be able to hold this in place. See if that came off. I think it came off on my finger, but it's making its way to the die cut, and that's good. So that's probably all I need. And we'll take the paper off, and then we're going to put that right in the middle. So you can see the bottom is loose, but the tag is going to hold that down. Now for these, as you can see, I put some adhesive sheets on the back before I ran them through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I did the same with this, because that just makes it much easier. They're very narrow, and this makes it much easier and less messy to put them on your project. So I'm just kind of fitting these in between. And I'm not going to burnish them until I'm sure they're in the right placement that I want. Whoops. So I'll do that at the end here. Maybe make that one a little higher. Yeah, that looks good. And so then we're going to stamp on our tag, on our label, and that this is a stamp from the set. Like I said, that just a little something for you that caught my eye and gave me the idea for the gift card holder. So I'm bringing in Gorgeous Grape, and that is the ink color that comes with the kit. I just like to use my full-size ink pads, and so that's why I do that. And I like this. I love this board, this mat, because I can line up and make sure it's straight by using the grid lines. I love this glass mat studio. If you are interested in being a demonstrator and you don't have a demonstrator you work with, reach out to me. I would love to have you join my team, and you can earn this for free. And it's a $60 value. All right, and actually we are going to, oh, that's right, I forgot my little white piece. Let me grab that. And this is 2.5 inches by 4 inches. So we are going to stamp on that too, but first we're gonna put it on the inside, just laying it right here. So I'm gonna grab my seal one more time. And I'm gonna butt it right up against the other piece. And so for the inside on this one, I used Happy Birthday that comes from the Let's Go Shopping stamp set, which is this one, because that was the first one I grabbed from my stash to do the Happy Birthday, but I'm going to use a different one for the other card. So you have some options, and clearly you could use this for congratulations, you could use it for Happy Birthday, Happy Valentine's Day, which actually is one of the stamps that comes with this month's kit. Very cute. Got a cute font, Happy Valentine's Day, but I didn't need Valentine's cards, so I decided to go with Happy Birthday. So clearly you can use whatever suits your needs. And so that is all of our stamping on this card. So while I've got it open, I die cut these for the inside. I did something a little different. I used the leaf die that comes with those companion dies. Let me see if I can pull them in once more for you. So here they are. And so this is the die that I used. And then I decided to try some from the Perennial Lavender Suite. So that's what I did for this one. So again, you have your option if you don't have those dies, but you have these, or vice versa. They work, either one works nicely. I think you could even put more than one of the companion dies that come with the kit, but I decided to just keep it simple on that first card and use one. And I'm just taking the paper off the back, and we're gonna lay that right here. Burnish it so that adhesive sticks, and then do the same thing. Thinking I need two more rather than one. Yeah, I think we're gonna use both of them. Just like we did on the outside. Yeah, I think that makes a nice little design for the inside. I like that. So the inside is done and the outside is almost done. I'm just going to put this on, and I did not use dimensionals, but I think maybe I will this time. So let me grab those, and I'm just going to put a couple on the back. And so we'll bump it up this time. And then we'll put this right here. And then of course, can't have a card be finished until it's got the bling. These are those purple fine shimmer gems. And I'm grabbing my take your pick tool. And so I used the Berry Burst ones, the large ones, for contrast. Or actually, yes, I think I used both of them for contrast here. And maybe this time we'll use the small ones. I think we will, since the tag is smaller. Oh yeah, I like that better. And then I scattered a few more around, and I will use the larger ones because they get a little bit lost. So we'll put one here, and we'll do a Highland Heather. This is Gorgeous Grape Berry Burst Highland Heather here, and then one more of the Berry Burst, I think, up here to help draw your eye around the card. So what do you think? That is card number one. For the second card, I decided to use the other card base, and it was screaming masculine card to me, and I didn't even realize until after I started putting it together that it also looks like those wonderful boards that hold tools. So you can get, like I said, 2 cards from, or I don't know if I said, but you can get 2 cards from each card base. There are also 4 envelopes, so you can actually get 12 cards. Isn't that great? 12 masculine cards just from this kit. All right, so I will show you, like I said, I have started the process already because this, you already know how to do from the last card. So same thing, cut it at 4 1/4 inches by 11, scored it at 2.5 inches and 5.5 inches, folded it in and adhered on the 2 ends right here with tear and tape after cutting a notch with the 1 3/4 inch circle punch. So, and then putting obviously, oh, and so the card base was cut into 2 at 4 inches by 5.5, and then I cut the 5.5 inch side down to 2 3/4 inches, and that gives you the 2 pieces. So if you're fast forwarding and just looking at the masculine card and you're confused at all, you can go back to the first card and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So here's where we are. So let's do a little stamping. I cut a die from the Trusty Tools dies, and I purposely we're gonna stamp over on this side so we have room for that paintbrush, or I actually die cut some different tools so we could play, but I do have still a paintbrush, I think, for that end. So I'm gonna bring in Lost Lagoon. I've got the exact same sentiment as from the first card. And like I said, I'm going to stamp it. I'm gonna move these out of the way. Center it on that line. Make sure it's straight. And stamp it over on the left-hand side. On the inside, I did Happy Birthday but this time I used a different stamp set. I used the Beautiful Balloon stamp set. So I'm going to bring in that Happy Birthday, and you can see it's very well loved and a little bit stained pink, but it's not going to matter. Still going to stamp in Lost Lagoon, just like I needed to. So again, I'm going to line up my card on my grid, and this stamp, I don't know if it's got enough ink, is meant to be tilted like this. And so that's what I did for this. Oh, I got a little bit of ink. That's all right. Shows that it's handmade. And so that is all the stamping we need for that card. And like I said, I have die cut and fussy cut a bunch of tools. So I am going to bring in the dies so I can show you. This is what I cut out from the Trusty Toolbox Designer Series paper, and I am going to show you that at the end, but I'm going to show you the tools again at the end too, but I'm bringing them in now because I don't remember which ones I fussy cut and which ones. I know these two have dies. This has a die. This has a die. The paintbrush, the screwdriver is the one I fussy cut. That's what it is. So there's paintbrush, the wrench here, the hammer, this wrench, tape measure, yeah, and the paintbrush. And there's also a pencil that you can cut out as well. I actually did that on the first card. I believe it's on the inside. So I wanted to just kind of play with what I had from the pattern paper. There are 2 different sheets that you can use to cut out some of these images. So it's pretty, there's a lot that you can choose from. So I do want to put the paintbrush because I like that there. So we'll put that on there right away. And all I did was put some seal kind of in the middle where I knew it was going to overlap the tag. And so before we put it on, I just grabbed several of the tools. So I think I'm going to do the hammer and the screwdriver again, and maybe this. I wanted different colors. And then we're going to use, oh, I'm going to need one more for the inside. Let me see if I have it here. I think I did, but it must have fallen away from the rest of the supplies. So I'll get that in a minute. But we're going to put this, same as we did on the other one, in the corner because I wanted something small and I think it fits nicely there. So we'll do that. And I love this glass mat because I just got a little bit of adhesive on the table, but you can take the chamois that comes with it and it takes it right up. Love it. I don't need to use alcohol wipes and it comes up really quickly and easily. I love that. All right, so let's put this over here for now. And we're going to line these up. I'm going to do this pretty much what I did on the first one. I kind of centered this one a little bit up toward the top. Like that. Didn't cut it out quite as beautifully as the first one, but I think it's okay because it's mostly going to be covered up. And then we'll put this one over on the left, and I wanted to vary the heights of them, so that is what I did. And then last but not least, the screwdriver. Over here, so you can see there are a couple of different ones and different colors. They might even be from different sheets. I don't remember. Like I said, there were 2 that I used to cut everything out, and I'm going to get that adhesive out of the way again. And then this is going to go on the front like this. So you just have to remember, and I do like this better, you know, than the first card. I couldn't kind of figure out with the die that I was using how to overlap it and have it be large enough. But what you do have to remember is adhesive only goes on this side so that you can open it. And if you have adhesive here, it's going to mess that up. So we're just going to put adhesive on one side. Whoops. And we're going to center it about like that. And so there's our front almost done. And then, like I said, on the inside, I am going to grab one more tool, and here it is. So again, I'm just going to cross them here. So then we have our 3 tools on the inside. Maybe we'll do it like that. So I'm going to grab my seal one more time. And then the only other thing, I did use some embellishments. I'm going to grab my bone folder. You do want to do this afterwards to make sure that it lies nice and flat. The only other thing I did was include some embellishments. So I'm using the Rustic Metallic Adhesive-Backed dots. I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool one more time. And I just scattered some of them in large and small around. Whoops. Sticking to the Take Your Pick tool there. And here, another small one. And then on this one, I used another one here, but since there isn't really a spot for it, I think we may just put it, let's see, maybe up here. Yeah, maybe up here. All right, and so that is it. That is card number 2. Here is my third and final card. It is also a birthday card, but again, could easily be used for Valentine's Day. And I will say, I meant to say this earlier, that sentiment, Happy Valentine's Day, does just fit in there nicely. So if you do want to make Valentine's cards, it will work perfectly with this design. So here, like I said, is card number 3. And just like with the last one, I've done some assembly already. So once again, it's 4 1/4 inches by 11, scored at 2.5 inches and 5.5. I folded this over. I cut a notch with the 1 3/4 inch circle punch. And then I adhered it by putting tear and tape here and here. And so, and cutting the card base down to 4 inches by 5.5, and then cutting it in half at 2 3/4 inches, putting one panel here and one here. And so that's how we've gotten to this point. If you need to know more specifically, if you're a visual learner and you haven't watched the beginning of the video, the very first card will show you step by step how to do it. And then I took a die cut from the kit. That's what this is. But there are only 4 of them, and you can actually make, if you use the envelopes and the card bases, you can make 8 cards. So what I'm going to do this time is I have a die cut from the Stylish Shapes dies, and that's what I use. This is the largest square one. So clearly it is a little smaller, but I'm thinking it's going to work just as nicely for today's project. So let's see, I've got some of the components here. The Love die cut comes from the die that is in the companion set that I showed earlier, and so that will fit nicely in there. And then the U letters, let me show that. So the letters from the word U come from the mini alphabet dies, and so it's one big die. And all I did, let me see if I have a scrap here I can show you. This isn't the color I used, but what I did was put an adhesive sheet on the back and then cut them down so they would just fit over the Y, the O, and there are 2 of them, and the U. And so I laid them down like this with the adhesive sheet you should see on the bottom, and I used it like this. I turned it upside down on my die because this is the cutting edge up. Laid it down, the adhesive sheet's on this side, so you'll see the adhesive sheet. You know you're doing it the right way. And I just put a piece here, and I put a piece over the Y and a piece over the O, and then I ran them through. And I held them down with some painter's tape, or you could use washi tape, but I did hold them into place and then ran them through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine so that I didn't have to use the whole thing. If you wanted to, you could even just run a piece of paper through this part so that you would get all the letters you need if you don't want to be that fussy with it. And so here are the letters that I cut out that spell out the word U. And they are going to go here, again with my adhesive sheets on the back. And we'll line them up, of course, when we put them on there. And so this is going to fit on the front like that. So I actually like this better because it's a little smaller. If you like the look of the grape around the outside, you can take your gorgeous grape ink pad and use your sponge dauber and just ink around the edge but I think I'm going to leave it this way. Well, maybe I will. What the heck? While we are here, I do have my sponge daubers handy because we're going to use them for the butterflies. So I think I will do that. I'm going to grab Gorgeous Grape. And before we put everything together, I'm going to take my sponge dauber and we'll just ink around the edge. Just gives it a little bit more definition. Yeah, I think that will work nicely. So now we've got that, and I think we will put this together. So the way I did it the first time, because the die cut is so big, is I reached for my butterfly to see kind of where it was going to fit, and I put the love underneath it. So I'm going to kind of try to do the same thing. So I'll take my adhesive sheet that I put on the back of this Berry Burst cardstock, take the adhesive sheet paper off, and we'll put it about in the middle, like that. And then the U, we'll burnish it, make sure that adhesive sticks. And then for the word U, a little extra piece there. Get that with my Take Your Pick tool. And for the word U, like I said before, we're going to lay it out. And then, yeah, I think I'll move it over a little bit toward the edge, tiny bit. Yeah, and I can see that I actually kind of cut off a little bit of the pieces of the U, but I think it looks okay, and nobody's going to see this card to know that it's not supposed to look necessarily like that, so I'm going to leave it. I did have to do a couple of them before I was successful with getting all the letters, getting them all cut out the way I wanted. And that was really because I wasn't using the washi tape like I should have been. Okay, so now this is going to go here. We're going to, again, put adhesive only on this side. So I'm going to grab my seal. And I'm putting a lot on because I want to make sure it stays put since it is only on one side. And we'll center it. And then for the butterfly, and let's see, we'll do our stamping inside. I did Happy Birthday again, so we'll bring in that Happy Birthday stamp one more time. So I'm bringing in that Happy Birthday and Berry Burst. This is the one I want. Happy Birthday and Berry Burst. And we'll line it up. So that is all of our stamping. Very little stamping on these cards, partly because of the die cuts, like using the word love and you and cutting those out. And on the inside and on the front, I'm going to use these butterflies. So I'm going to put one here. And then I already have a couple that I have decorated with color, and I'm going to show you how I did that. So I'm going to put one here and then the other one on the inside. But first, let me show you how I did it. So I have my sponge dauber that I use for reds and deep pinks, and I'm going to bring in Berry Burst. And I'm just putting that color around the edges. Give it some definition around the edge, and I want contrast because I could see just a little bit of Berry Burst that's picked up in the paper that's on the front, the cardstock. And so that's why I did that. And you could do tone on tone really if you wanted to and use Gorgeous Grape and Highland Heather, but I wanted a little more contrast that the Berry Burst provides. And we're just going to go around the edge. Like that. I can always go back in and add more, but I think that's a pretty good start. And then I'm going to grab Highland Heather, and I could have used Gorgeous Grape, but I wanted it to be a little softer. I think I used Grape on this one, and I wanted it a little softer this time. So I'm using Highland Heather, and then this wonderful glass mat I can ink off here, and then I'm just adding a little bit of color to the center of this butterfly. I'd say that's pretty good. So, and then because it is easy to use, this glass mat, it's easy to ink on and then clean up. I'm just taking my chamois again, and actually I probably need to wet it a little more. Oh, not too bad. And then over here, and the ink comes right up. Good as new. And the chamois also comes with the glass mat, and there's also a silicone mat that comes with it as well. The silicone mat is fabulous because it stays put and doesn't move, not only in your glass mat, but I have a wood table and it stays put right there as well. It's a wonderful, a wonderful tool. All right, so let's put these on. I just put a little bit of my multi-purpose liquid glue in little dots on the back. Very small dots in the larger spaces and kind of around the edges. And the nice thing is you don't need much for it to adhere. It's very strong. And then the same thing even on the little antenna. And then I'm going to place it right here. Oh yeah, perfect fit. And then the same thing with these. And this one's going to go here. And yeah, I really like the contrast that the Berry Burst makes with that background paper. And then last but not least, this one. And this one goes on the inside right here. Let's see if we can get that turned around. There we go. And so it does come out a little bit, but I don't think that's going to matter. And then I'm going to clean that surface one more time. And it's nice because the chamois is just damp, so it dries quickly. When I've re-wet it, then I usually will just use a microfiber cloth to dry it, but very, very easy to work with. Okay, so the chamois that comes with the Glass Mat Studio is wonderful because it's barely damp, so it dries quickly, but when I first re-wet it and wring it out really well, if it's a little more damp and there's still a little water once I scrub, I just use a microfiber towel to dry it, and it's really quick and easy. Oh, just an FYI on that. All right, and now last but not least, all we have is our bling. So I'm going to bring in those purple fine shimmer gems one more time. I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool. And so just as before, I kind of scattered them around. Maybe we'll use a dark one here. Gorgeous Grape. And a Highland Heather. And yeah, I think I'm going to do the same as before and put 5. And then we'll use a Highland Heather one over here with Berry Burst. And we'll use another Gorgeous Grape up here. Maybe like that. All right, and that is it. That is card number 3. I hope you like them. I hope you have need for some birthday cards or Valentine cards, that you need a gift card to go inside and that it's useful for you. All right, I'll be right back and show you what I use to make all of the cards besides what comes in the kit. And here are some of the components that I use to make the cards. I use the painted lavender dies for the very first card. Let me bring it back in. And so we use this to cut these out and the ones on the inside. And then I use this for the inside as well. So that's what I use from those dies. And they are a companion to the painted lavender stamp set. So you can get those as a bundle. And then of course I use the gorgeous purple fine shimmer gems. Well, they are gorgeous. And I use them on the last card as well. And for the second card, I use the Trusty Tools dies that are a companion to the Trusty Tools stamp set. So we use those to cut out some of the pictures of the tools in the pattern paper. And here is that wonderful pattern paper. Remember that you can earn this as a free celebration item with a $50 purchase. And this is called Trusty Toolbox. And there are the other coordinating colors and patterns on the other side. So again, we use 2 different sheets to cut out some of the tools, either fussy cutting or using the dies. That's right. And I also used the beautiful balloon stamp set for the happy birthday for the inside of that card. And for the last card, I used the same stamp set, the beautiful balloons for the happy birthday on the inside. And I also used the paper butterfly accents that are part of the perennial lavender suite. And of course, those purple fine shimmer gems. All right, so let me bring the cards back in one more time. So here we have all 3 of them. And I hope you like them. I hope you like my alternatives this month. Like I said, the stamp really inspired me, just a little something for you to make the gift card holders. And, you know, they could just come in handy so much. I love having a spot where you can put it right in the card and know it's not going to get lost. So I hope you like my alternatives. Remember that if you use all the components that come with the kit, you can make 4 of these cards. You can actually make 12 of these cards if you use the envelopes too. So lots of cards for different occasions, because obviously you can use any sentiment on the inside that you need to and make a lot of cards for that. And then this one will make 8 cards if you use the envelopes as well, because they are very similar in pattern to this. And then, like I said, you can use the die cut that comes with the kit, or you can cut one from the Stylish Shapes dies, and so that's how you can get more out of the kit. And then the butterflies obviously are separately. You get 40 of those in the package, so plenty to make the cards. All right, thanks so much for joining me today. I love that you watch every month, and if you are not a subscriber, please do subscribe. If you click on the bell, you'll be notified when I post new videos. I do try to do paper pumpkin alternatives every month, sometimes a little later, sometimes a little earlier, depending on when the kit comes and what's going on. But I also have lots of other cards, scrapbook pages, home decor items, tips, techniques, beginner videos, a lot there, hopefully, that you will find useful and enjoyable. So please check out those other videos. Take care, everyone. Happy stamping.